Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us for this Disability Services chat with the Financial Aid and Scholarships Office. Today we have Jennifer Irwin, a Financial Aid Officer, Judith Walker, the Disability Services Coordinator, and me, Kathy Sider, the Disability Services Testing Center and Alternative Formatting Coordinator. If you have any questions or comments during this time, anytime during the webinar, you can use either the chat or the Q&A located at the bottom of your screen, and we will get to them in order or at the end of the presentation. So please do not hesitate to ask any questions that you may have. At this time, I'll turn it over to Jennifer so she can talk to us a little bit more about what the office does. Jennifer.
Wonderful. Okay, I am going to share my presentation with y'all. Hopefully you can see this. My name is Jen. I work in financial aid at UM-Dearborn. I've worked in the financial aid office for over a decade now. And most of the people actually in our office have worked there for 10 years, 5, 10, 15, 20. We're a very seasoned office. I want to talk to you a little bit about financial aid, a couple things that kind of basics, and then some further information. And please chat any questions that you have. And I also welcome Kathy and Judy to ask any questions as well that they have come across with their students. But the first step for most students is going to be the FAFSA, the Free Application for Federal Student Aid. The FAFSA is going to be the main application for grants, loans, and work study, not only for federal funds, but also for university funds. That application is going to be available at studentaid.gov. Ooh, and I found a cool laser point thing that I just want to try with y'all, if it works. Awesome. So studentaid.gov, we're looking right here at this website right here, studentaid.gov. That's where the FAFSA is going to be located. So for this year, for 2020, 2021, which is a lot of sounds, I apologize if I trip over that. But for this year, the FAFSA was available on October 1st of 2019. It's not too late to apply. So if you haven't applied, please do so as soon as possible. If you've already filled out the FAFSA, if we have anyone listening who might be considering transferring to the University of Michigan-Dearborn, and you've already filled out the 2020-2021 FAFSA for another university, please go back into the FAFSA and add us. You can add our school code, and that way we will get your FAFSA information and be able to process your information once you're admitted to U of M-Dearborn. So definitely go online and do that. So the FAFSA is available October 1st every year. So in 3 months, the FAFSA is going to be available for fall 21, winter 22. So I definitely recommend if you have alerts on your phone or if you have a calendar that you use, put something on your calendar for October 15th. Say fill out 21, 22 FAFSA on there, and then that will give you a reminder to get that in. I usually ask students or recommend to students to get their FAFSA in by Thanksgiving every year. Even if you're not sure whether you're going to be enrolled for fall 21, I would definitely get the FAFSA completed. That way that you know that you have it on file. And the earlier you submit it, the more chance that we have to ask you for further information. And also, we look at early FAFSAs for priority eligibility, and other schools do too. So if you think you might be going to grad school for fall 21, definitely get the FAFSA submitted. You can put up to 10 schools on there. So you can just say, you know, I want it to go to all of these different places. And for the 2020-2021 FAFSA, we're asking for 2018 tax information, since that was the most recent tax year that was completed in October of 2019. And then the FAFSA that's going to be available this October for next fall, for fall of 2021, that's going to ask for 2019 tax information, because that will be the most recent tax year completed. So definitely look for that. And that is kind of the first step for most students with the financial aid process. Now we also get a lot of questions about scholarships. So This website, umdearborn.edu FA_scholarships, is going to give you a list of a lot of different information for graduate students, for transfer students. We have information there about private scholarship searches, private scholarship information, also scholarship tips and scams. So check that out. We also have our current student scholarship application on that website, or through that website you can access it. And that's going to list, we have over 100 scholarships, I think, at this point, that are for current students. Now, that was available in January, and the deadline for most of those was March 1st. But we do still have a few that are open that have very specific criteria. So if you are a physics major, if you are an AAAS major or minor, if you are in natural sciences, and there are a couple others, I would definitely go to this website and look for our current student scholarship application, because we have a few that are still open, and the deadline for most of those is the end of this month. So I would check those out to see if you're interested. But for fall of 21, that the scholarship application is going to be open in January, and look for that, and that's going to be due in March. So that's a great resource for our scholarship information, and looking for scholarships from other places outside of the university. So something that is coming up a lot recently are questions about our emergency funds. So I do want to give you some information about that, and I'm also looking at this website on my phone, so I can read you what is on the website. But we have kind of three different resources for emergency funds. We have the CARES Act, the Immediate Relief Fund, and the Get to Graduation Scholarship. And I just want to talk about a little bit about each of those. This website is going to be where all three of those are located. The applications, for all of these three are located. If you just type emergency resources in the UM-Dearborn search function at the top of any UM-Dearborn page, you'll also get to this page if you don't want to type out all these letters. So let me start with the CARES Act. The CARES Act is funds that the university and universities and colleges around the U.S. received from the federal government. These are funds, the funding from the CARES Act, I'm going to read you what's on our website, provides financial assistance to those who have been adversely impacted by the disruption of campus operations caused by the COVID-19 crisis. So CARES Act immediate relief funding may be used for such items as household needs, food insecurities, additional technology needs, support for childcare expenses, or assistance to cover medical expenses or health coverage. So that application is available online. You do have to have FAFSA on file. That is currently a requirement of the funds that are given to us by the U.S. Department of Education. These are not for tuition and fees, so the funds would go directly to you for those expenses that you have. So this would be a case where, if your child's daycare closed and you need to find another resource, you can apply for these CARES Act funds. If you didn't expect to be online and need to buy a new laptop, or your internet provider isn't providing you enough juice, for lack of better words, and you need to kind of enhance your internet service, that would be something where you could apply for CARES Act funds. The Immediate Relief Fund is our funds that are donated from, generous donors to the university. So the CARES Act funds are federal funds. The immediate relief funds are funds that the university has received through donations from generous alumni, faculty, staff, friends of the university. The FAFSA is not required for immediate relief funds. So students who are international students or DACA students, this could be something that they could apply for. The FAFSA is not required. And the immediate relief funds can be used for tuition and fees. So between the two, you don't apply for both, just apply for one, because if you have FAFSA eligibility, apply for the CARES Act funds unless you specifically need those funds for tuition and fees, and then you can apply for them for immediate relief funds. And then
I have a question.
Sure, yes, Judy, go ahead.
Sorry to interrupt.
No, please.
Can any of these funds be used for alums?
These are, thank you, that's an excellent question. These are funds for current students, so alums would not be eligible for these funds. Also, if a student isn't enrolled, they would not be eligible for these funds. So we did have some students apply over the summer for these funds who were not enrolled for summer classes. So those applications are on hold until the fall. If they're enrolled for the fall, then we'll definitely get those reviewed, those applications reviewed for the fall semester, as long as students would be enrolled for the fall. So it is for enrolled students, it's for students.
Okay, continue with that line of thought because you're in there. You mentioned either applying for the CARES Act or the immediate relief funds, either one. So if you have multiple reasons, like you need a laptop, you need childcare, would you do all in one, or are you supposed to do separate applications or submissions for, or just one per person?
So in that case, in that specific case, if you are eligible to file the FAFSA, so you meet the criteria of citizenship and or eligible non-citizenship, if you receive financial aid, in that case you would fill out the CARES Act funds. We do currently have more funds available in the CARES Act to award, so I would definitely go that route. To fill out that CARES Act, and just I believe on the application you can check all the boxes that are applicable and get that application in. Okay, and then for the Get to Graduation Scholarship, that's the last one on this slide, the last on the website. The Get to Grad funds, and I'm going to read it so I don't improvise and get anything a little off. But the Get to Grad Scholarship provides assistance to students who are close to their undergraduate graduation requirements and may be close or at the maximum eligibility of the Pell Grant, federal subsidized loan, and or unsubsidized loan. And Get to Grad funds are intended to help those students that may fall short financially to achieve their goal of a Michigan degree. So I would submit that information if you're running out of financial aid eligibility. That Get to Grad Scholarship is going to be something that we would be looking at for those funds. Okay.
Also, Jen, for the Get to Graduation Scholarship for those funds, is it a certain GPA that you have to have in order to apply for those scholarships?
No. A student would have to have a GPA that they could graduate with. So if a student applies and then has like a 1.7, that's something that's probably going to be reviewed and may not be approved just because, they may not be able to graduate with a 1.7. But I think if a student has eligible GPA for graduation, that would be something that we would look at. And students with a 1.7 should still apply, and that way it would go to the committee for review. I would definitely recommend that, but I want to make clear that we're not looking for like a 3.5 or something like that for this scholarship. We're looking for students who are eligible to graduate, and these funds would help them graduate.
And just go back to the CARES Act funds one more time. Sure. So if you applied in summer because you need a laptop for fall, but you said they're on hold, were the students notified that they were on hold, or that would be reviewed at a later date, or did they just think they didn't get it?
I believe we notified students. It was a little harried because it kind of opened all at once. So I know we're working on those, and I believe we are going to be looking at those and getting those funds out in August, late August, to students to just confirm that they are enrolled for the fall semester. So I apologize if we haven't I think that we've put notes on students' files, but I think we were very focused on trying to get funds out for summer for those students who needed that assistance for the summer semester. So I do apologize if you applied for fall and we haven't yet notified you, but we are working through that. We're trying to get everything updated, and we will get back to students about the fall funds.
Thanks.
Sure. Okay, any other questions about the emergency funds? All right, so I'm going to move to the next slide, which is UM-Dearborn Connect. So right now, as you all know, it's kind of complicated. You're seeing my lovely office here at home. If you need to look up information, sometimes it's hard to know where to go. Because sometimes you just picked up the phone and called an office and asked them. But I did want to let you know that UM-Dearborn Connect is available pretty much 24/7 for students to look up a lot of different information. So you can look up your financial aid awards to view and accept them. If you need to upload any documents, if we've asked you for tax information or a verification worksheet or anything like that, you can upload that information through UM-Dearborn Connect, and that will get to us. Once the tuition and fee bills are created, which I believe is going to be next week with student accounts, that information is going to be available online through UM-Dearborn Connect. And then once everything's updated with the class schedules for fall, which I believe is also going to be next week, you'll be able to look up that information online and add drop classes. So a lot of things I think that US students were used to sometimes doing in person. Unfortunately, we're not able to do that right now, but a lot of that information is available through Connect. You can compare your bill on the student account side to your financial aid awards to kind of figure out what that balance is going to be. And I know you can't do that for fall yet because the bill is not out there for fall and your award may not be out there for fall. But that is coming. I believe by the end of next week, we're going to have that all updated. So please check your email. Your University of Michigan email address is going to be really important to keep up with information because a lot of communication is going to be sent that way. But Connect is a really good resource to find out things specific to you. And I know that you probably all know this, but Canvas is more of the academic side of the university. So your professors are going to post their information about your classes there. You're going to see your syllabuses there. So that's going to have all that information. Connect is more of the business side of the university where you're going to register for classes, where you see your tuition and fees and look at your financial aid. That's going to be on the UM-Dearborn Connect side. So I know you all know that, but I just, in case we have any incoming transfer students who are watching, who are wondering what the difference is between Connect and Canvas, unfortunately, I don't have a clever mnemonic that I usually try to come up with, but Connect will connect you to the various offices that will help you with payments and registration and things like that. Judy and Kathy, do you have any questions or comments about Connect? Okay. So we have had a lot of questions about how to get in touch with us. Currently, we don't have phones. If that changes, we will definitely update our website. Our email address is probably the best way to get in touch with us. So the UMD-ask-OFA@umich.edu email address, if you include your name, your UMID number, and what semester you're asking about, those three things are really helpful to us to help look up your file and get you the information that you need. Those are the three, the main things that we need. We will normally get back, right now I think we're getting back to people within the same day who are sending us emails for the most part. If not, it usually is about 1 to 3 business days if we're getting a little bit busier. One moment, sorry. Our fax machine, if you need to send us documents, our fax machine is electronic. So we don't, Like there's not a machine in the office that has a bunch of papers that are stacking up. It all goes into our imaging system, which is all electronic. So if you fax us something, we will get that document, and we don't need to be on campus to pick that up. So that's another way that you can send us any documents if you're not able to look at UM-Dearborn Connect or upload information that way. And then as I talked about on our last slide, UM-Dearborn Connect is a great way to upload documents, upload information. And then we are available for appointments. This is a great, if you just go to the financial aid website and click on Contact Us, you can request an appointment with an advisor, or I think 9 to 5, pretty much Monday through Friday, we have financial aid staff in a Zoom room where you can just say, I want to talk to somebody now, and it'll take you to that Zoom room. You might have to wait a minute or two to speak to someone if they're helping, another student at the moment, but then they can let you into the Zoom room and answer questions that you have. So if you're looking for a more immediate response, I believe between 9 and 5, pretty much Monday through Friday, we have staff available to answer questions that you have. If you don't want to do that, you can fill out a form to schedule an appointment, and we can usually get you into a meeting with a counselor, either virtually like this or over the phone, within about 1 to 2 business days. So I think that's where we are right now. So feel free to ask us any questions. Feel free to utilize UM-Dearborn Connect because there's a lot of really good information there. I know that right now there's not a lot of information there for the fall, but by the end of next week, that should all be updated. And you should be receiving emails from the university about when those things are updated. So do we have any questions, any further information that folks are looking for?
Jen, I guess I do have a question, and it's back to scholarships.
Okay.
Could you just chat a little bit about the scholarships that are available for disability students?
Yes, thank you, Judy.
Thank you.
And I meant to do that. And so with the scholarship application, we have a lot of different scholarships that have a lot of different criteria. These specific scholarships for students with disabilities that I'm going to talk about have been awarded already for this upcoming fall and winter semester, but definitely look for them on the application that's available in January. But there's the Sean Taylor Stroh Scholarship for students with physical disabilities. And that is, like I said, that will be on the application available in January. And then there's also the James Barton Scholarship, which is available to students with disabilities who are, and I'm going to try to get this right, who are in, I think, engineering or math and maybe sciences. All of the criteria are listed on the website, so check out the website. But both the Barton Scholarship and the Stroh Scholarship are specifically for students with disabilities, and both of those will be on the application available in January. But there are a lot of other scholarships in addition to those that are have different criteria depending on majors, depending on GPAs, depending on interests. So you should definitely look for this application every year and apply to as many of the scholarships that look like you meet the criteria for. And then the committees make those decisions, and then we notify students. So we have been, if you did fill out the application, we have been notifying students via email. So check your UMich email address. I know I've said that a few times, but it's a really important access to the university, especially right now. We're going to be notifying students via their UMich email address. The bulk of those scholarships for the upcoming fall semester have been awarded, but we still have some that are yet to be awarded. So just a heads up on that. You may still be awarded if you haven't heard anything, if you filled out that application already.
Thank you.
Sure. What other questions?
So scholarships, it's more of a January to March thing awarded for the next year. Are there anything in between more, or is that really where you should target your time to search?
Right. So January to March is really when you should target your time to serve. Well, definitely for us, for the UM-Dearborn scholarships. Although we, like I mentioned earlier, we still have a couple that are open just because the criteria are so specific that we're having some difficulty finding students. For other scholarships as well, I would probably target that time period as well if you're looking outside the university. Because January through March, you're going to find out, when their deadlines are, what their criteria are. Most donors are looking to award students, to give students money for the fall semester. So if they have a March deadline for their application, that gives them time to review their applications, then to notify students, and then get the money to the schools. So I think early on in the winter semester is a really good time to start looking for scholarships, and maybe even earlier for private scholarships, because their deadlines are whatever they want them to be. So if you find out, in December that a deadline is in March, awesome. You already know what you need to do to get that information in and get that submitted. So it doesn't hurt to be earlier, but I would say no later than February would be looking at applications and deadlines and finding out what's needed and when that information needs to be submitted. Because some committees are going to make decisions pretty quickly, and other committees, depending on where they're located, might have a meeting, once every quarter to make decisions. So I would, recommend looking at those deadlines and making sure that you're meeting those deadlines for those scholarships.
So just food for thought. When they are applying for scholarships, what is the general criteria typically? For example, do they have to have a reference, and who would those references need to be? Would it be faculty? Would it be staff, or either or? Just the basics so they can start thinking of.
Okay, so some scholarships are going to require references. We have at U of M-Dearborn required references in the past from 2 references, one from faculty, and one can be from whoever, not a family member, and probably not your best friend, but someone who, like an employer, or someone you from the agency that you volunteer with, or something like that. Some scholarships are going to require that. For example, we have a scholarship for students who work at the library, at the Mardeghian Library, and a letter of recommendation from their supervisor is required for that scholarship. We have another scholarship or 2 that require that are for students who do community service, and so a letter from the folks that the agency they work with is a requirement for the scholarship. But for most scholarships, the basic minimum criteria is going to be a 3.0 GPA at UM-Dearborn. I'm talking about UM-Dearborn scholarships. At least 12 credits of college level work. Those are pretty much the 2 basic criteria, and then eligibility, like through the FAFSA, that type of thing, for eligible citizens and non-citizens. And then we have some scholarships that are very specific, like we are looking for students who have, a 3.5 or higher, who are in this specific major. So there may be some that are more specific, but for the most part, it's at least a 3.0 GPA with at least 12 credits at U of M-Dearborn by the end of the fall semester prior to the application being open. But for non-UM-Dearborn scholarships, it's basically whatever the donors want those criteria to be. So, we've heard the stories about, scholarships for left-hand students or students with red hair and things like that. I was at another university that had scholarships for students with a specific last name. So it does, it varies the different criteria, what they're looking for. I'm not sure how that last one met legal criteria, but but you know, different donors are looking for different students to give money to. So definitely look out there. You know, be aware of scholarship scams. Don't pay someone to find a scholarship for you. You know, don't give someone your social security number. You know, some of those kind of basic things. But there are a lot of we have information about scholarship searches on this website. So I would definitely check those out for anyone who's interested.
Thank you.
Sure. Well, let me go back to the last slide again, because I kind of want to leave students if we don't have any other questions, but if we do, I'd be happy to answer them. But I did want to leave students with how to contact us. So I don't want you to think that we're hiding from you. We are not at all. We are all at home working working very hard, trying to get everything updated for our students who are here for the summer, trying to get ready for our students who are coming back or joining us for the fall semester. We are still here for you. So please send us an email, or if you want to, you know, talk to us, check out our Zoom room or schedule an appointment, and we'd be happy to go over any questions that you have.
Jen, thank you so much. This is such valuable information for our students, and it is going to be on our website. For those that could not attend today, they can go on our website and review the information. And I think it's great just to know that all of the support services, even though we're in this remote learning environment, we're still here. We are still here to help you. So I thank you so much. This was really great, and I also have learned a lot today.
Wonderful. Well, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you everyone for watching. And like I said, let us know if you have questions. We're here for you.
Thanks, Jen. Bye.
Bye.